Hey, lovely. In the last couple of episodes, I've mentioned or I've talked about having tools in your toolkit for those times when things ramp up, when we feel stuck. And I promised I'd come back to those tools. So here we are. That's what I'm doing in this episode. So this is for those times like we've talked about overwhelm, that feeling of I just have too much to do and I don't even know where to start. Or the mornings when you're starting to spiral, you're starting to snap at people, everything's starting to feel really overwhelming. All those different times when there's that stuckness, that heightening, and you know you need to come back down, but you don't quite know how. And we're very often never actually taught how to do this. I mean, I know as a kid it was go to your room until you're fit to be around, and I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing in my room. I was supposed to be calming down. Um, and when our nervous system is ramping up, when we're getting that feeling of, oh, my face is getting flushed, I'm getting shaky, my heart's racing, our system's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's reacting to a threat, whether that threat is real or imagined. Our nervous system reacts in the same way to an email or a manky lunchbox or a hard deadline. It reacts to that as if it was a bear in front of us. It can't actually tell the difference. We've kind of trained it that this thing is a threat. And you can't think your way out of this spiral, this getting hooked, this anxiety or stress ramping up. It's physiological, so your thinking brain's actually turned off a little bit. And telling somebody to calm down is spectacularly unhelpful because it's physiological, not logical. So we need to work with our body rather than trying to argue with it or rationalize it or fight against it. And that's the why these tools I want to talk about today are the more somatic end of tools, things that, we can use in that moment. And having said we can use them in the moment, it's also helpful, in fact, necessary to have practiced them ongoing, so we can grab them when we need them. Little bit like how if you drive, we learn to do an emergency stop. We don't suddenly learn to do it when, the truck has slammed on its brakes in front of us or the kid has run onto the road. We learn by practicing. So same with these couple of things I'm going to run through now. And the first one I want to cover is a breathing technique. Breathing techniques are very common, very highly recommended for stress, for anxiety, for anger, for any kind of calming down and coming back to the moment. And I love this one because many people just find it simpler. Sometimes purely focusing on your breath can feel really tricky. So this one's called star hand breathing. And basically you take one hand, pointer finger of the other hand, and we trace around our hand as we breathe. So breathing in, you trace up, hold at the top, and breathe out. And in, and pausing, and out, and pausing. Now, I'm not going to go the whole way across because it's quite hard to breathe and talk at the same time. The key things are you have that focus of your touch and sight as well as breathing, going at your pace, but having the pause when you fully breathe in. Big out breath, really emptying is really important because that forces you to take a deep breath back in and you can repeat back and forward as many times as you need to. And as I say, practicing is really important with this. The other reason I love this is it's actually quite easy to teach kids. If you're starting to get the last video was about, those mornings of trying to get out the door. If you feel yourself getting elevated and start doing the breathing exercise, it can actually signal, okay, hang on, everybody take a moment. It's quite a good one to teach the kids. Some people I've spoken to recently, their kids have learned it in school, or even some young adults, older teenagers have learned it. So that's the breathing part of it. One of my absolute favorite things, one of my absolutely most recommended and personal favorite sort of thing is movement, simple movement. There was research, a few years ago now, I think it was the end of 22, that found that as little as 90 seconds of movement is enough to shift our mood. And this is not movement as an exercise. This is structured exercise. This is movement as in literally just moving your body. So doing a stretch, just stretching, standing up if you prefer. don't want to stand up right now because I'm here, but stretching, rolling your shoulders, shaking out your hands and arms, going for a quick walk outside. I quite often will suggest to people doing some squats or star jumps or if you're able to, burpees, because if you move those big muscles, that really, tells your system, all right, I'm moving, I'm doing something, and gets rid of some of that, some of those stress hormones that have flooded your system. You actually use them, you're giving them somewhere to go. Um, as I say, if you are able to go outside, that's a bonus because fresh air is great for you. But wherever you are, getting up, moving, or even simply stretching, if you can't get up and move, that can be super helpful. And then the third one I want to talk about is very much the being present, the grounding. Now, I'm aware that not everybody can understand when I say ground. People sometimes hear it as grind. So ground, Ground, like anchoring. So noticing your feet on the floor, noticing the feeling of the chair supporting you, really noticing what can I see, what can I hear, what can I feel. There's an exercise called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 where you run through what are 5 things I can see. And really taking a moment to notice, oh, I can see the bit of blue sky out the window and some fluffy clouds, or looking for what are 5 green things I can see or 5 shapes, but 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, which links to that feeling your feet on the ground, feeling the chair supporting you. You can use that one to give yourself a bit of a hug. Oh, I feel the warmth of my hands. And again, this just tells your brain, oh, hang on, come back here. We're safe. The threat's not actually a bear. There's no bear here. And just help to pull you out of an anxiety spiral, a overwhelm spiral, a shame spiral, any of those things that just works to bring you back into the moment. Those are my 3 strongest suggestions for tools to have in your toolkit. Practice them. It's like the emergency stop on the car. You need to practice them before you need them. The more often you practice, the easier they come when you do need them. Work out a way to build it into your routine. Things like when you get into the car or out of the car, for example, great time to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you wake up in the morning and stretch before you get out of bed, do some quick stretches or squats or whatever as you get out of bed. Um, but building these things into the everyday, and then when you actually need it, it comes along much more quickly. So, because you're never going to not be stressed. It's a natural physiological process. You can't get rid of it. We don't want to get rid of it. It is useful sometimes. It's being able to catch the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the whatever it is, and come back. And that's regulation. Self-regulation is a skill. It can be learned. You can learn it, practice it, and there are quite a few different situations we can use it in. Last episode, I talked about those mornings when there's the overwhelm. Before that, I've talked about, oh, I've got all the things to do. So these regulation tools can help us so much. If you sort of get this feeling of getting caught up often and would like to run through some of the things behind it or practice a bit more, these, of course, are the sort of things I work on. Anxiety, ADHD, stress, overwhelm. That's my bag. That's my core. I'm a registered counsellor based in Brisbane, and of course, I also work with people online. So please get in touch if this is something you'd like to explore a bit more. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.